everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. This is Trinity the Tuck.
And Ginger Glamour Toad Minge. It's my legal name now.
Now, after your entrance.
Yeah.
And welcome back to
Working Girls.
We need to have like an echo. Let's do it again.
Okay.
Working Girls. Girls. And today, girls and guys. And
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, everything in between.
That's my new favorite thing. Ladies and gentlemen.
There was something that someone said instead of ladies and gentlemen. It was something that was more inclusive. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, dude, that's a great idea.
I know. I love that.
But I don't remember what it was.
I love being all inclusive because my favorite types of drag aren't traditional drag. It's not what excites me because I guess I've done it so long that I'm just like, yeah, I've been there. I've seen it. I've done it. I bought the t-shirt several times.
When I used to do pageants, that was the end all be all to drag for me. Like I was like pageants, like perfection, beauty, realism. And then I got on Drag Race and started traveling and realized, well, girl, like there is so much more drag.
Isn't that what does it though? It's when you start to travel and you actually start to see different types of drag that you're like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, like fuck the pageant drag, like fuck the perfect drag.
Which, I mean, I still love it and it has its place, but I don't learn much new about it. You know?
Now I'm like, stay in your place.
No, I really love the term when we were growing up, they were called bio queens. Now they're AFAB, which I think sounds great because it's like fabulous, you know?
Well, in Birmingham, bio queens or AFAB queens were actually called faux queens. That's the term that they use.
And in the pageant world, they were the femme pageants.
Yeah, femme pageants, yeah.
Which, I mean, there's so many names that you could use, but I really like AFAB just because it sounds like, oh, fabulous. I love it.
Yeah.
And so the AFAB queens, they're the ones that do it for me. They're the ones that like turn it. Because to me, drag has always been like a celebration of femininity or masculinity. It's playing with those perspectives on gender. For me personally, it was never about like, I'm going to try to present myself as female as possible.
See,
and I don't want to be unclockable. I know that's how it was, but I was a pageant girl too. And that was never my perspective on it. I wanted to heighten the femininity. I wanted to do it at a level where it was not poking fun at it, but really celebrating it, taking it over the top.
Well, see, for me though, it wasn't back then. It wasn't really about poking fun of drag or women. It was to look the most realistic, and and I can see how that's totally problematic now. But like, that's just what it was. That's the way drag was. That's how I was taught.
Well, we knew going into these pageants, spending all this money, taking all this time.
And you're around nothing but beautiful trans women. So you're like, well, I've got to compete with that.
I want to be you.
Yeah.
I want to look like you.
And that's why I started getting body work and, did the whole pageant route. But then now, like, it's just totally transitioned to, like, I love creative drag. I still do like beauty drag, but I love the creative aspect.
Do you know, like, the one form of drag I thought I would never fall in love with were drag kings, only because to me, I loved gowns and hair and jewelry and shoes. And I was like, well, what are they going to have to offer? And the few drag queens that we did drag kings that we had in the Orlando scene years ago when I first started, it was usually just like, it was the equivalent of pageant realness, where it was the tight Wranglers and like a cowboy shirt and a cowboy hat and boots. And I was like, it's fun and I enjoy it for a minute, but it's not giving me what I want. And then when I really started traveling and I saw like the communities that are super supportive of drag kings, they just flourish there.
Yeah.
And it's drag. It is drag. It's rhinestones and earrings and hair and all those things that I love about the art form, but in a totally different perspective. And that's why I have fallen in love with our guest today. I am so excited that they are here with us. Ladies, gentlemen, ladies, gentle them, everyone, anywhere, please put your hands together and welcome our very special guest, Tenderoni.
Roni.
Hi.
Hi, babe. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Doing great. Looking fabulous. I love that blouse.
Thank you.
Before
love a good blouse.
you came over, I was complimenting Tenderoni of her skin right now. Like out of drag, your skin is stunning. I don't know if this is a filter you have going on, but I'm loving it.
It's called the ring light on blast on top to blow out any blemishes.
What is this filter called? Oh, surface of the sun.
Exactly.
And how old are you?
I will be 33 next Thursday.
Oh,
33?
still a baby, yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's such a good age if you're dyslexic, like me.
Jesus. I'm Jesus.
Drag Jesus.
That's kind of a good drag name, Drag Jesus.
I love that. I think that's fabulous. Talk about hair and gowns.
Oh,
What a Birkenstock.
can you imagine like having the only beard?
I did when I was in high school. Her name was Trixie. I've talked about this before. You got me through a lot.
Oh gosh. So you live in Chicago.
Yep, I do. I've been here for 7 years.
Okay, so where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Massachusetts, Western Mass, Springfield, Massachusetts. I moved here
in the garage.
Yep. Luckily, I don't have that accent because I'm Puerto Rican, so that trumps the Boston accent. But yeah, I'm an East Coaster originally.
Oh, cool. Did you start doing drag in Massachusetts?
No, I started doing drag in Chicago. Drag in Massachusetts, when I lived there at the time, there were no drag kings. There's barely drag. There's barely gay clubs in Massachusetts when I worked there. They're like straight clubs that have gay nights.
Oh, no.
I think that I worked in Massachusetts one time outside of Boston. And I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was one of those things where it was like, oh no, we're not a gay club, but this is our pride night of the month.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow. Okay, well.
Like anytime like a Rue girl was in town, if there was a Rue girl, you would have to wait like in a line for like 7 hours to go see them. And you're like, this is miserable.
Oh my God.
And Chicago is like the extreme opposite. Like in Chicago, you can go out any night of the week and there's a drag show. There's just like so much good drag here. So I'm very lucky.
So we were talking earlier before we introduced you about our perceptions of drag before like we got our eyes woke from the world of drag outside of our little communities where we started. I was actually exposed to drag kings really early on because I did the Entertainer of the Year pageant, and they always had a king version of the queen version. And so
for those who don't know, a lot of the national pageants, they have like subdivisions. Yeah. So like with Continental, I started in Continental and I wanted to be Miss Continental Plus really bad. We've talked about it before. I should have been. But in Continental, there is just the regular Miss Continental.
Yeah.
Then there is Continental Plus for the plus size entertainers. There is Continental Elite, which we lovingly call Miss Incontinental, for it's for the girls that are over a certain age.
Yeah, over 40.
And then there's Mr.
Which is actually still really young.
It is.
I don't know why they have it at 40. Like there is women, well, not just women, all kinds of entertainers competing for regular Continental way above the age of 40.
Yeah. But it's just, I think to maybe make it a little more fair for the scoring across the board, because, you know, the older girls, they didn't feel like they were being judged properly or fairly against some of their younger competition, or the plus size girls weren't being judged fairly against the thinner girls, which is certainly, you know, I think it's the case. I've seen it firsthand.
Well, that's how Black systems came about, like Black Universe, Black America,
Black
Continental, Black US of A. Because back in the day of when those were created, which was like 25 years ago,
at least,
people of color were not fairly judged. And so they created these subdivisions. And now it's not so much, because now you have most of the winners that I've seen over the last 10 years have been people of color, because girl, they're just more fierce than white people that can't dance like me. Back to EOI, back to Entertainers Gear.
Well, that's what I was saying. So the first time I actually saw drag kings outside of the few that we had in our little country bars around here was at National EOI. And I was like, oh, wow, because EOI has like 6, 7, 8 different subcategories.
Yeah, categories, yeah.
And drag king was one of them. And it was mind-blowing.
Yeah. The drag caliber at those pageants are just crazy. One of the best drag kings that I have seen in person and worked with is Spiky Van Dyke.
Yeah.
We actually started drag together, like in Birmingham.
Oh, that's awesome.
On a Thursday talent night. So that's where. Have you ever done pageants?
No,
other than the one that you told me we will get into later.
No, Alaska's pageant was the first pageant that I ever did. I've been to Continental as like an observer, but I've never done pageants. I've always been obsessed with it because I love I love stones. I love like the gag of everything. I love gowns. I love everything over the top. And I am also like very anal for perfection. So when I was like, these pageants are sickening.
Yeah,
perfect anal.
Yeah, perfect anal.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to achieve.
Yeah.
Very hard, very
over the top.
But I think that's why I was so attracted to you in so many ways, because I do think you're absolutely gorgeous. But your art in particular, I'm very attracted to it because it appeals to somebody like me that has ADHD and needs that bling and that costume and that. It's so over the top that it is really fun and captivating. And your performances are spectacular too.
And you just won that Alaska's pageant. Now, I'm not even going to try to say the whole name. It's Drag Queen of the Year, but you're a drag king. But say the whole pageant name because I will mess it up.
It's Drag Queen of the Year, pageant competition, award contest competition. I had to write it down.
Yes! I love it.
My sash is like the whole.
Oh my gosh. So how does that feel? Okay, first we'll get to like how it feels to like win, but how does it feel to be representing a pageant that's called Drag Queen? Now, what is Alaska's explanation of that, you being a drag king? Because she allows all types of entertainers to enter, but why is it called Drag Queen?
I mean, personally, I love it. I interpreted it as a misnomer, almost like something that's like wrong just to be like, just name that to be controversial. I also alluded it to this pageant in To Wong Fu, which is like Drag Queen of the Year. So I'm like, that's my favorite movie ever. So Chichi Rodriguez was like the first woman I fell in love with when I was like 7. So I was like, I have no problems taking that as a title because I mean, I also have a sense of humor. I understand what it is. And also it's kind of sickening to have that title as a drag king.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad
all
at it
those other drag queens and you snatched their crown, honey.
Well, in knowing Alaska as well as we do, I guarantee you it is a direct reference to Tu Wong Fu.
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And can we talk about Tu Wong Fu for just a second? Because I loved that movie growing up. It was my first real exposure to drag outside of like Pink Flamingos and all that. But for the actual drag world, it was my first exposure. And here I am thinking, oh, how glamorous to travel across the country in full business drag all day, every day. And then I started doing drag and went, what kind of bullshit were they trying to pull? You can't wait to get into the car to take your bra off, pull your lashes off, throw that wig in the trunk, and floor it.
But but also with this movie, because of the era of when it came out, it almost gives you like you don't know if they are trans or if they're not. Like because Vita's almost, you get the sense by the end of the movie that she's trans.
Yes, but I don't know a trans woman either that would put on terrible fucking slippers and a chiffon gown to drive across the country.
Yeah, duh. But
they were living the fantasy.
Yeah, it's the fantasy of the movie, which is it is one of the best movies.
It is my long explanation of saying I was tricked. Yeah, I was tricked. I thought this life would be a lot more glamorous than it really is.
You had said that you fell in love with Chi Chi. I didn't fall in love with her because I'm not attracted to that extreme of femininity. I can appreciate it, but girl, I like man.
I like
But I loved Chi Chi. She was my favorite character. I thought she was so beautiful. Now in hindsight, girl, looking at that, I was like, whoa, that makeup now. But back then, when I was little, I'm like, she is so gorgeous. I love her. More than that bucket of chicken. Yes, queen. I mean, I lived.
Oh, Bobby Ray. Bobby Ray.
And we had it on VHS, and the ending part where she like comes out with like the white gown, like that part was erased because I would rewind it so many times.
No. Looking stunning, but also, have we ever seen a pageant on a lawn of a mansion?
I don't know, but I just, it's just a fantasy. It's sure the same thing as like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. So it's an iconic drag movie.
Well, and Tu Wong Fu was America's answer to Priscilla.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing like a direct ripoff of it, it had done so well when they brought that movie over here. They were like, oh, we're going to make our own. Quick, put Wesley Snipes in some pumps and watch him run around. Exactly. But I would say that Wesley Snipes turned out to be my favorite of all the characters because I felt even though he was very mask presenting, I mean, it's Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
He has very defined features.
His arm.
He's just so beautiful. But I felt like his acting was so nuanced and feminine that I believed him the most out of the three, that this is his authentic self in his life.
The voice. It reminds me of Monique Hart. Not the way that, obviously, Monique is overall more polished looking, but like the personality, the voice, the attitude, the confidence. It reminds me so much of Monique because they kind of sound the same with their like really high pitched voice.
It's so
totally extra. I love it.
I also love it because it's like drag now is all so much about being like, yo, I look like a girl. I'm girly. I'm like, you look at them like that's drag queens. Like that's old school drag.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like they look like drag queens. I love it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's why like on the mic, I like my pronouns are he, she, they. You can call me whatever. I am not offended easily at all. And I am often self-deprecating and make fun of myself with like, I'm a man in a wig, like all that. Because to me, I don't feel like you can take drag serious and still make fun of yourself while doing it. And I just think that's part of, at least for me, that's part of it.
You can make jokes without having to be the butt of them.
Yeah.
Like somebody got so offended in my Meet the Queens video. I guess I called myself a crossdresser. They're like, I am so offended. I'm like, but that's what I've always called myself. Like, to me, it's very tongue in cheek. My preferred pronoun is she, but I don't care what you call me. You know, like I know that as long as you don't do it with malice, I don't really give a shit. I'm just kind of me. But I was like, why are you policing what I call myself if this is how I feel and this is how I identify?
Yeah.
And it must be even more difficult for you because drag kings, I think, have even more of a stigma attached to them because it's not as mainstream as drag queens yet.
Yeah, it's a little complex because people, I mean, as easy as it is, it's like, I'm the opposite of a drag queen. It's literally
the opposite. Easy. But it's two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. People don't understand.
People don't understand.
But I mean, I'm happy to be the example or be one of the examples. I don't love like when people don't take the time to educate. It's like it takes 1 second to educate someone, as long as they're not coming from a place of like you said, malice. I'm like,
it's always explain to you. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. I feel like people nowadays, especially, and you're of the age of like, kind of our age of where you think like that, like younger, and I'm not dissing younger people, obviously.
I feel like we're kind of that in between age of like the boomers and like the super wokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're the ones that are like, okay, I see both sides of this.
I look at like intent. What is their intent? And if how did they really mean that?
Yeah, let's explain
like you
it.
said,
talk it out.
Educate is the most, because I mean, I know I have been very ignorant in the past of stuff, like everybody has.
Yes, me too.
Until you learn. So I'm sure you do that all the time for people because you're a person of color, you're a drag king. so you have the opportunity to really do that for
Yeah, I mean, today, kids these days are just like, I feel like drag is drag. People make mistakes. And as much as I like to educate people, I also like to give people chances to redeem themselves, which I don't think people like to do now. I'm like, okay, I get it. People did ignorant stuff, but like give them a chance to make up for it. So
what is
I'm a little bit more lax.
What is the comedian? He's really short. It's
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, where literally the whole gay community was like canceling him for saying some like derogatory stuff in the past.
No, fuck him.
And well, I'm saying,
fuck him.
I don't know like his whole history, but I do believe, like you said, giving people a second chance and giving people an opportunity to like grow. I don't think that we should just cancel people just to cancel them for a mistake. Like if they don't ever fix the problem, that's one thing. But like, come on, like I
mean, I believe in holding people accountable, but I also believe in like giving people a chance to be accountable. Yeah. So it's like it's a two-sided thing situation.
Yeah. So I was very much like, okay, we're taking this a little far with Kevin Hart. Don't cancel him, don't ruin his career, give him a chance to learn and grow and all that kind of stuff. And he posted all those things and I thought that he had learned. But then when Jiggly and I were about to film season 2 of Wigs in a Blanket, we had booked one of Kevin Hart's studios. And supposedly, allegedly, what happened was right before we were supposed to film, literally the week before, they found out it was a drag thing. And they said, we don't want to be associated with that. And they canceled us.
Oh.
So I was like, well, this kind of goes right along the lines of what people were up in arms about over you. Like, this is an opportunity for you, A, not to worry about it because we're just people coming in to rent the space. Or B, go, hey, we are allies. This isn't an issue with us. So whether it was him making that final decision or not, it's the people that he has entrusted with his business that are still putting off the message that he's not okay with it.
All I thought of that entire conversation that you just said was you had said that he owns a studio. And I'm thinking to myself, bitch, that's a great idea. I need to open a drag studio.
Right?
I don't know what you just said about Kevin, and I'm sure it's horrible. So fuck him.
It's not horrible. It's just disappointing.
Now I want to own a studio and rent it out to people.
Well, let's do it.
Especially with that whole digital drag. I had to rent out a studio to do my talent for the pageant. And I was like, oh my God, it's so annoying to rent out a studio.
It is. There's so many rules, particularly in COVID times. It's like crazy amount of rules and people don't understand what goes into actually trying to create all this content.
Well, by the way, let's talk about that. Like, congratulations on winning that pageant. That's a huge deal.
Thank you.
You were amazing I didn't get to see it live, so I only got to see bits and pieces of stuff. But what I saw, you were amazing. Saw your talent was amazing.
I watched it live. I kept up with the Reddit threads on the whole thing, see how people were voting. Like, oh, girl, I was in it.
Well, congratulations, because you had some great competition. And you came out on top. Did you get all your money?
Oh, yeah. Next day.
Okay, good. Because I was like, we're going to read Alaska on air right now.
No, I got my money the next day. And it's funny because they were originally saying that the prize was $10,001 because it's the second year. So they increased it by $1. And I only got $10,000. And then when she mailed me the crown, there was $1 inside the box.
Word! That's hilarious.
Do you have the crown with you?
Yes, you want to see it?
I want to see it.
Let me grab it.
Okay. So she's going to go get her crown. For the people that are just listening, we're also videoing this. So if you want to watch any of this, you can look on YouTube under Trinity the Tuck or our Instagram IGTVs.
Yeah,
we have that posted, so you can watch
all those things.
So it's from Fierce Drag Jewels.
Yes.
It came in this cute ass box.
Ooh. She is shining, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fierce. That is so fierce. I love it. It's very it's pointy, so it's not. I've never seen a crown like that.
I haven't either. That's really fierce.
Yeah, I still have to shoot in it. I haven't even done a picture.
You better get to that. It's been months since you won.
Right? I had the issue, not issue, but the funny thing is that I got a full-time job before we started doing the pageant, before we got the okay. And like, as soon as they're like, yeah, this pageant is happening. And then they're like, yeah, you got a full-time job. So I was like,
Oh, no.
because, it was COVID. I was like, I need to make some coin. Like this digital drag thing is not. So I got a full-time job. So I did all the pageant, like when I was training, like working 40 hours a week and competing in the pageant.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. And
I just quit my job.
Oh, you did not. You were like, oh, we're back to normal. Bye, bitch.
Bye. See you later.
Yes. So,
yes, and then the sash says the whole drag queen.
Oh my gosh.
Contest, award contest.
I've never seen a sash with a train.
Yeah, that's a lot of sash.
Exactly.
But you're all set if we enter a new pandemic and the world's out of toilet paper.
Yeah,
you're set for at least a year with that sash.
Yep, and the dollar.
Oh, you have the dollar thing.
You need to frame it and put it on that gorgeous wall behind you.
Thank you.
I want to know, so what is the theme like for you in Chicago? Like, are you a masters of ceremonies anywhere? Do you have your own show? What is the drag scene for you with Drag Kings in Chicago?
So drag in Chicago is very inclusive. My come up here was very well received. Chicago is very much like, if you entertain, we have a space for you. So I've had nothing but positive experiences here. I personally did not have any shows because I suck at hosting. I need to work on it. I'm an entertainer. So like I go on stage, I perform, then I'm in the back like,
So I love to perform. Then I go to the back and try to catch my breath. I'm like, I didn't even perform.
In the back, dry heaving,
Where's my Taylor? I just called 3 bingo numbers. I'm winded.
So, literally dance floors in Chicago just opened last week. So now like things are starting up again. I would love to host my own show again. I had a couple shows. I had my brand is very much nostalgia, 80s, 90s. So I have a show called Throwback Attack. I had a digital version of that. And then I also had one called Snack Attack, which is like food and stuff like that. So I would love to have that again. I'm just looking for a venue because right now venues are opening up little by little over here. But drag here is awesome. There's a couple drag kings in the scene. There's Luca Me, there's Travis Fierro. There's like a bunch of kings that do stuff here. It's just, we're just waiting for the area to open up more.
I saw Luca Me. They were on tour. They had traveled, I believe, to like Detroit or something a couple of years ago for this. It was like a big all-inclusive diversity show that they were putting on in some part of Iowa. No, it wasn't Detroit. It was some part of Iowa. That's where it was.
Iowa.
Yeah. And I was just obsessed with Luca. I was like, oh, I love you. I'm in love with you. I think you're so great.
I love drag, period. Especially now, the more creative you are, the more like different you are.
Yeah, wear a frog.
Well,
shut up.
Iconic frog intro.
Hello. I was like, come on. If you're going to be ugly, at least throw some glitter on it and have fun.
Wearing permanent. I can't.
Hey, it's cannibalism. So I really want to know, and I think everybody out there that's listening, I would like to say hi to all 4 of our listeners right now. We really want to know, like, how you got started. So you didn't start till you got to Chicago, but what was kind of the catalyst?
Like, was there somebody that inspired you to do it, or what brought you to do drag?
Yeah, so growing up, I was always like the crazy family member. I'm the firstborn, so I was definitely like spoiled from my parents. Spoiled in the sense where I was like allowed to do whatever the hell I wanted. Yeah. And
I was the baby that was never allowed to do anything because of my 3 asshole older siblings.
So my number 1 was Michael Jackson. It's like Michael Jackson, you can see him. He was like my number 1. I used to do his impersonation in high school. I went to a trade school. That's why I'm trade. But I went to a trade school and I had really good guidance counselors. And they were like, yo, do you want to do a performance at lunch? And I would like bring my boombox. They would let me put a Billie Jean on and I would like perform in the lunchroom. And I was crazy. And then my name was like Michael Jackson Girl in my hometown.
Oh, I love that.
So I would just like perform in my talent shows and stuff like that. Or like when I go to family weddings, I was always like pushed in the middle to be like the dancer. Michael Jackson, my number one, Prince, David Bowie, like George Michael. I love all the 80s and 90s like stars.
Me too.
When I was growing up, that was me. And then I went to college and then I kind of fell out of it. And I was just like, I started working retail, you know, that retail life.
Uh-huh.
No.
I know it too well.
When I moved, so I worked in the stock room of a store, like a typical lesbian stockroom diva. So I got relocated from Boston to Chicago. That's how I moved here. And I came with my girlfriend and we're like, let's go out. Like we want to see drag. So we started going out to see drag in Chicago. And we're like, this shit is dope. Like there's so much good drag here. And then, we started becoming obsessed. We were like going out like every week. And then I saw my first ever drag king. His name is Dusty Balls. He's from Chicago.
Dusty Balls.
I love that.
I was stage managing a show and I was helping him like get dressed. He's like, help me tape my titties back. So I was like helping him and like helping him like tuck stuff in. And then I was just like, this is something I can do. Like I had never even thought of a drag king before that. So when I saw him go on stage, I'm like, this is actually like, I kind of want to do this. So I was friends with some people in the scene and there's amateur competition. So I kind of just tried it out. I was an artist before I was a performer. Tenderoni was my graffiti name and my artist name. So I just put it to my drag name because I'm like, Tenderoni, like Cher, one word.
I love that. Yeah.
And it's beefy. Who doesn't love a mouthful?
Right? It's also like a Bobby Brown song. It's like a young person who dates an older person, which is me. I'm a granny chaser. I love older women.
Yeah.
So that's
Tenderoni
like
mean?
Yeah, Tenderoni is like, it's from there's like a Michael Jackson song and a Bobby Brown song, which is Tenderoni, and it's like a pretty young.
I only know it's Boyardee. Beefaroni. Oh shit! Well, that's gonna be my drag king name. Beefaroni. I'm gonna be.
You can be in House of Roni.
I can't wait.
Actually, I have one.
Roni is a sick. If you become a fashion designer ever, Roni is a sickening designer name. What are you wearing, Roni? Like
I have one drag son. His name is Mac K. Roni. It's like Mac.
Oh my gosh!
And you should have like some awful little horrible offspring called Roni, and you'd be like, oh, she's sick. Oh, coronavirus. She a sick name.
Oh,
Girl, that was a reach around. I'm sorry, Mom. That took a while.
We love a good reach around.
Yeah, well, I have these T-Rex arms, though. I can't reach behind my back. I can't reach anything off of a shelf. That's why I could never be a stockroom diva like you were. Unless it was on the bottom shelf, I wasn't picking it up.
Yeah, she's a bottom.
Bottom.
See, I would never work in a stockroom because if there was a hot garbage, I would be back there all the time.
Oh, that definitely happened in my stockrooms before.
I'd be like, please, can you help me stock my shelves?
It's Thanksgiving. You want to help me stuff the turkeys?
All the best stuff happens in the stockroom.
Yes, lots of stuff.
We get sidetracked a lot, and I apologize for that. But so you decided that you were going to join the scene after you met Dusty Balls and help them tape themselves back and do a fabulous show.
Did you win the competition, the first one that you did?
I did not. I was a finalist, but I did not win. America Powers won. She's an amazing drag queen in Chicago as well. But I was a hot mess. Like I remember I did Missy Elliott. I didn't have a blow up outfit. I had like 4 trash bags that I taped together and I blew it up with a blow dryer.
Word, that's sickening though. That's drag. That's sickening. I love that.
And how long ago was that?
7 years, right?
I moved here 7 years ago, but I started doing drag almost 5 years ago. So I've been doing it.
Okay.
You're still, that girl, you came a long way, and I was still busted for many years after 5 years.
I know, we've seen your crowning.
You know what? We've seen your intro.
Jade, you need to put the rattlesnake noise there.
Oh,
well, we've had fun with you on our podcast. We have a game.
We have a game that we have been playing with all of our friends. And we've decided the name for this game.
God, it's so funny.
It's 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
Ooh, my favorite.
It is basically 2 truths and a lie. I'm going to read 3 titles of 3 pornographic movies. You have to figure out which one is fake. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Oh my God.
Very serious game.
It is. I always get it wrong.
She does. All right. Number 1, Titanic.
Titanic. What?
Number 2, Who Rimmed Roger Rabbit?
Oh my God.
And number 3, Pussy in Boots.
Okay. Well, that one seems real. So who rimmed Roger Rabbit?
Who Rimmed Roger? So it's Titanic, Who Rimmed Roger Rabbit, and Pussy in Boots.
Okay. Titanic is the false one.
You think
Because
Titanic?
how are you supposed to do what is the storyline of this? Like instead of an iceberg, it was titties that
On Saturday night, she goes down. I don't know.
Oh,
Who knows?
All right.
I think you say Titanic. What do you say?
I think it's Roger Rabbit, because how are they going to put those cartoons and stuff?
You are both wrong.
Oh, man, no.
You're both wrong. The fake one is Pussy in Boots. So
That one seems so easy.
Yeah, that's so easy to do.
yeah, so I would like all of our listeners, please, to go out there and rent or stream Titanic or Who Rimmed Roger Rabbit.
Okay,
Let us
I'm gonna
know
go
which was
watch
better.
both of those now, because that sounds very interesting too. Though.
I know, it's so stupid.
Titanic. I gotta see what the plot is of this.
Okay, have you seen? I just saw on Twitter. Have you seen Edward Penis Hands?
No. What?
It's this weird 80s one, and his hands are literally like penises. It looks so scary.
Oh my
No.
God.
Is he like penetrating people with all these things? Oh my God.
Actually, if you go on YouTube, you could look like Edward Penis Hands, like non-sex parts, and it just has like the weird parts before the actual sex.
Edward
And it's
Penis
like-
Hands is still trimming bushes.
Oh my God.
So we've talked about a few episodes ago, we talked about the first porns that we saw. Mine was Sumo Sue and the Fat Ladies of Wrestling, because my brother broke the VCR and it had the tape still in it. And then yours was
Mine was Willy Wanker and the Fun Factory. So it was, instead of a chocolate factory, it was a sex toy factory. But it still had all of the characters.
what was yours?
I don't remember the name. All I remember is that my dad used to steal cable, and it was when it was like the A side and the B side, and you would have to like take the wires and like mess around so you could see like the Spice Channel, and you would see like one floating titty, and I'm like, yes,
Yes. That's what meant,
Girl,
girl.
probably just the haunted mansion. It wasn't Battle Leota floating in the crystal ball.
The stolen cable made you a lesbian.
exactly.
I
That ain't too long for
floating kitty, and I was hooked.
Now everything's streaming.
Yeah.
exactly.
America did this to themselves.
Yeah. Well, we've had so much fun with having you on the show. Thank you for coming by and giving us your perspective and what your story. We love it.
Well, I have 2 questions.
Oh, God, okay.
Before you go. I know we have to wrap it up. But number 1, where can all of our listeners find you? Where should they follow you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Tenderoni88. Same thing on Twitter. The 88 stands for the minimum rhinestones I have on my body at all times. No, I'm just kidding. It's just the year I was born. So you can find me on all social media platforms at Tenderoni88.
I love that. Are we all 80s babies?
84.
I'm 84.
Are you?
Yeah.
When's your month?
It's been 84 years on the Titanic. I'm September 11th, 1984.
Oh, so you're older than me? It shows.
Well, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Seasoned.
Yeah. Lot seasoned.
How dare you? Just salty.
Just very salty.
And my second question, we may even cut this out for time, but I did have a quick. I had made the joke about, okay, I'm gonna come in and be your beefaroni. I'm gonna be your drag king son. Do you think that, like, what is your opinion? I don't know how it would work if an AMAB, assigned male at birth person, were to be a drag king. Like,
They exist already. You know who Axel Andrews is?
well, no, I do know Axel, but he doesn't necessarily, like, I love Axel. He's part of my family here. I've never really seen him really refer to himself as a drag king. So I'm just wondering, like, what the nuances of that are.
I mean, there definitely are some drag kings that are already like, assigned male at birth out there. I don't have any problem with that. I mean, I do not care what's in people's pants. As long as you're entertaining, you're entertaining. So there's some people who want to like police that, but I'm just like, listen, who am I to tell someone they can't perform?
I think this is just my easing into saying, I think we should do away with all these stupid fucking titles and just call it drag.
Yep.
Let's just call it drag and let's just have a good time.
Yep. I agree.
Well, we love you so much. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to come spend a little moment chatting with us.
Do you want to plug anything before we go? Like, do you have any upcoming anything that you want to plug? Shows, digital stuff?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Chicago or if you're not in Chicago, I will be at Pride in the Park on June 26th. I will be opening for Shaka Khan. So that's amazing, insane. It's an amazing lineup. So I'm super excited for that.
Well, good. Good luck with that.
Thank you so much.
I hope we work together soon.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. I want to travel again. So
yeah,
I'll make it work.
Orlando. Come on.
Come to Orlando. We've been open since, 48 hours after the pandemic started.
I mean, my legs.
I don't think it never closed.
Well, you have a fantastic one and congratulations on your win.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, it was so fun talking to them.
Yes. Her pronouns out of drag are her, hers, she, hers.
She, her. In drag, he, him.
Yeah.
And out of drag, your pronouns are he, haw.
Yeah. I'm definitely he, haw. He, haw, ho.
We are you, y'all.
You, ye, haw.
You, y'all, yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
That's us. Well, it was fascinating to me because you never know. There's so many different subsets of the community, and it feels like they are ever changing.
Yep.
So it's nice to talk to people that are from those niche corners.
Yeah.
To kind of give you a little more insight, to make sure that you are we are understanding what we're saying.
Right. Well, I think that's important. I also think, like we talked about earlier, I think people just need to remember, or at least know what someone's intent is.
Yeah.
Before we cast major cancellation judgment.
Yeah.
And then, at the end of the day, we're all human. Nobody's perfect. We're all going to make mistakes.
And don't be afraid to ask. If you have a question about something, that's why I love when people come up to me and they go, so what are you? What do you want to be called? Are you she, her? Are you that? I love being asked that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I said, I don't care what you call me unless you mean it to harm me. I'm not going to take it that way. But if you're just asking, is she, her?
Yeah. And sometimes I like to be called dirty things.
Yeah.
But only when I want it.
Mud Puddle.
Mud Puddle.
That was her stripping name.
Oh, that was your stripper name?
That was your stripping name.
Oh, it was.
Mud Puddle.
Mud Puddle.
I was Grand Canyon.
I was shitting myself.
Oh, I hope not.
Mud Puddle.
Girl, this is taking
I had Taco Bell. Mud Puddle.
Feedback. Oh, but it's always really nice to be able to have those conversations because, even us who have been working girls in the game for so long, we are still old dogs learning new tricks every single day.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, this has been fun. Until next time, we love you all. Thank you for tuning in.
Make sure you go to gingerminge.com. It has the links to all of my socials. You can follow me.
Trinity the Tuck on all of mine. Actually, I don't have Twitter anymore. I've deactivated. Girl, I'm just over it. So go check me out on Instagram. That's where you're going to find me. At trinitythetuck.com if you want to look at my schedule, which is just now starting to get updated because of COVID. So
yeah, and make sure you watch All Star 6 streaming on Paramount Plus.
Yes, and please like and share information to this podcast with all of your friends, your frenemies, the people you hate.
Send it to your kindergarten teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She will love it.
Your grandmother's new husband.
Mm-hmm. The authorities.
Yeah, the authorities.
Whatever.
Yeah,
whatever. Until next time, we love you. We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.